Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back and thank you for supporting me. I'm Coretta. In this tutorial, I will be making another glitter HTV and Hotfix Rhinestone tumbler. Except this time, I'll be showing how I made it a multi-layer design. I will show you how I added text to this tumbler wrap. Come on, y'all. Let's get started. For this project, you will need rhinestone flock, Hotfix rhinestone transfer tape, HTV anything. You will need glitter, HTV of your choice, Hotfix rhinestones, a tumbler. You will need a brush to brush your rhinestones in and a rhinestone wax pencil in order to help you to get all of the rhinestones in the holes that didn't get in when you were brushing them. I will leave a link to all of these items in the description of the video. So here I am in Silhouette Studio Business Edition. I've already measured my tumbler, and based on those measurements, I'm going to create the templates for the tumbler wrap. To create the templates, I am going to select the drawing tool on the left menu, and I am going to select the rectangle option. I'm going to click anywhere on the screen and draw a rectangle of any size. And once I'm finished, I'm going to click anywhere on the canvas. Next, I am going to size the rectangle. To size it, I'm going to make sure that the rectangle is selected, and on the toolbar at the top, I am going to change the width to 9.25 and hit enter. And then I'm going to change the width. The width is 9.25 and the height is 8.125. Enter. And I'm just going to position that onto the canvas. Now that the rectangle is sized, I'm going to change the color to gray. To change the color, I will make sure that the rectangle is still selected. And on the right menu bar, I am going to select the fill panel, which is the third icon, and it looks like a paint palette. Here, I'm going to select a shade of gray. Next, I am going to change the line style color because it has a red line around it, and I don't want the red line. So I'm going to go to the line style panel, which is the fourth icon on your right menu bar, and I'm going to select it. I'm going to select the second icon, and I'm going to select none. Okay, so for this tumbler, I want to add text to the wrap. So I'm going to add the letter A. To add text, I am going to select the text tool on the left menu bar, and it looks like the letter A. It's on the left toolbar. I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to click anywhere on the canvas or in the gray area, because you can use the gray area to design as well. And I'm going to type the letter A, and then I'm going to click anywhere else on the screen. I'm going to change the color to yellow by selecting the letter, going to the paint palette, which is my fill panel, and I am going to select yellow. Next, I am going to change the line color by going to the line style panel, selecting the second option and clicking none. Now I'm going to select my font. To select my font, I will select the letter A. So I'm making sure it's selected. And then on the right toolbar, I'm going to select the text style panel, which the icon also looks like the letter A. When the panel opens, I will select the font of my choice. For this font and this project, I am going to select the font Bold Marker. Okay, so I have my letter, and now I need to size it. I want the size to be 4 inches in width and 4 inches in height. Before I size it, I just want to point out that, as you can see, the bounding box around the letter is larger than the letter. So that I can get a more accurate size, I'm going to ungroup. To ungroup, I will make sure that my letter is selected. So the letter is selected. And then I'm going to go to the top menu and I'm going to select Object, and I am going to select Ungroup. Selecting Ungroup now makes the bounding box closer to the letter itself, and you are able to get a more accurate size for your letter. This is the way that I do it, and I'm sure that there's another way. If you know of a different way, leave a comment under the video so that you can share it with others. Remember though, once you ungroup your letter, you will not be able to edit the font anymore. So I'm going to size the font, the letter. I'm going to size this letter to 4 inches in width and 4 inches in height. Now I have the template for the wrap and I have the letter. So I'm going to place the letter on top of the template and I am going to align its center. To align center, I am going to select both the rectangle, the gray rectangle, and the letter A. I'm going to go to the transform panel shortcut and I'm going to select align center, and then I'm going to select align middle. Now I have my Tumbler wrap design, and I need to, I'm going to be using 2 different color cardstock. I'm going to be using 2 different color glitter HTV. And because you cannot layer on top of glitter HTV, I need to subtract out the letter A from the gray rectangle. So to subtract, I am going to open up the modify panel, which is the 11th icon on the top. It is the square and the circle which interlocks with each other. And once this panel opens, I am going to select both the square, the rectangle square, the gray square rectangle, and the letter A, and I'm going to select subtract all. This will slice out the letter A from the rectangle. So we have the rectangle with the letter A sliced out of it, and now we have the letter A. So as I stated earlier, I am going to be making a glitter HTV and Hotfix Rhinestone tumbler. And this portion is for my, this design here is for me to cut out the HTV glitter so that I can place the rhinestones on top of it. And so that I can have a template for my rhinestones, I am going to duplicate this design. I'm going to duplicate the square and the letter A. And to duplicate, I'm just going to right click and I'm going to select duplicate. I'm going to move one of the templates out of the way. So I'm going to move it over here so it is out of the way. And then I am going to focus on converting this template to rhinestones. So to create the rhinestone template, I am going to move this A over to the side for now. I'm going to select the square. And I am going to add an internal offset to this rectangle. To add an internal offset, I am going to make sure that the rectangle is selected, and on the right toolbar, I am going to select the offset panel. It is the icon that looks like a star with the outline. On the offset panel, I am going to select internal offset, and then I'm going to change my distance so that the rhinestones will fit perfectly on my template. I am going to change my distance to 0.100. So I'm going to change this to 0.100, and I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to select apply. So I'm going to separate the rectangle and the square. The gray rectangle and the internal offset. I'm going to delete the gray square because I no longer need it. And then next, I'm going to do the same thing for the letter A. So I'm going to move the A to the canvas. I'm going to select the letter A. And on the offset panel, I'm going to select internal offset. I'm going to change my distance to 0.100, hit enter, and then apply. Once I'm finished, I am going to separate the two pieces. I'm going to delete the yellow A, and now I have my A offset. So that we can see things a little better, I'm going to change the color of the rectangle to green. So I'm going to go to my fill panel and I'm going to change this to green. I'm going to change the line color to none. I'm going to select the A internal offset. I'm going to change the color to yellow. And then I'm going to go to line style and change the line to none. So the next step now is to convert the rhinestone tumbler wrap, which is the rectangle and the letter A, to rhinestones. I'm going to change this to pink because I changed the other one to yellow. So I'm going to change this color on this A to pink so that we could differentiate between the glitter HTV and the rhinestone template. To convert the design to rhinestones, I am going to open the rhinestone panel. To open the rhinestone panel, I'm going to go to the top menu and select panels, and then I'm going to come down and select rhinestones. For this tumbler wrap, I'm going to be using 10SS rhinestone size. So to convert, I'm going to select the green rectangle, and I am going to select 10SS rhinestones, and then I'm going to select linear. I'm going to change the spacing to 0.020, and then I'm going to hit enter. Next, I'm going to convert the letter A. So I'm going to move this template off, and then I'm going to select the letter A and put it on the canvas so that we can see what we're working with. So with the letter A selected, I'm going to select 10SS rhinestone size, and then I'm going to select the fill radial fill. Now that I've converted it, there's some spacing here that I don't want, and so I'm going to also change this spacing to 0.20, just so we can see the difference. There's still some spacing in here, so I'm going to change the spacing again to 0.010. And we're going to see how that looks. And that's a little better. We're going to zoom in to see if any of the rhinestones are touching, so that if they're touching, then I need to change the size again. And that looks fine, except for some minor adjustments that need to be made because I don't want my template to have all of these gaps in it. And so I'm going to fix that. So to manually fix the spacing, making sure that my letter A is selected, I am going to select Release Rhinestones on the Rhinestone panel. When I release the rhinestones, as you can see, there are little gray squares around each of the circles. This has made each of these circles become individual objects. Next, I am going to start making my adjustments by moving some of the rhinestones and moving them so that they can fill in the gaps here. And all I'm doing is selecting the rhinestones, and you can select them with your mouse. You can move them with the mouse, or you can move them with the arrow key on your keyboard so that it kind of fills in the gaps. If you feel like in some spots you need to add another rhinestone, like in this area here, you can select the rhinestone and copy and paste it, and then you can place it wherever you want it to where you want it to go. And again, you just continue to fill in the gaps so that the spacing is not so large, because we want the rhinestones to be as close as possible. So I'm just going to move some circles around. I think I could probably add one here. So I'm going to select the circle, copy and paste, and then I'm going to place this one right here, and I'm going to try to get it fit in right there, and it fits perfectly. And I'm going to do the same over here. I'm going to add a rhinestone right here, and then I'm going to continue to make the adjustments. Once I'm finished with all of the adjustments, I'm going to select all of the rhinestones. So I'm going to make sure all of the rhinestones are selected. I'm going to go to Object, and I'm going to go to Group. Okay, so all the components are done now, and I am going to create layers. To create the layers, I'm going to make sure that the A is selected. And I'm going to go to the top menu. I'm going to select Object, and I'm going to select Make Compound Path. The compound path is going to remove the color from your rhinestone circles. And so all you have to do is go to your fill panel and add the color back. And then remove the red, the outline. Okay, so I did that, and now I'm going to zoom out so that I can move the A off the canvas and bring the rhinestone template of this rectangle back. I'm going to open the rhinestone panel, and I'm going to select the template. I'm going to release the rhinestones. So once they become individual objects, I am going to go to Object on the top menu, and I'm going to group them together. Once they are grouped together, I'm going to go back up to Object, and then I'm going to make Compound Path. I'm going to change the color back to green. And I'm going to take the red outline off of the line. And then I'm going to put this piece back into the template. I'm going to select them, and then I'm going to align them center and align them to the middle so that they are together. I'm going to select them, and then I'm going to move them off of the canvas. I am going to bring back my other layer. Okay. Silhouette Studio is moving slow. Okay, so I'm going to slide over here, and I'm going to bring this back to the canvas. And then I'm going to select the gray rectangle, and I'm going to go to Object, and I'm going to convert to Path. Then I'm going to select the A, and I'm going to go back to Object, and I'm going to convert to Path. Now I have turned the design into layers, and I'm going to put it back together, then save it as an SVG so that I can upload it into Cricut Design Space. So I'm going to move this, bring that to the front, put that on top, and I'm just making sure that the design aligns properly. I'm going to move this A over here and align it on top of that A, because that's how I would do it on the Tumbler. And then to save the file as an SVG, I'm going to select the entire file. On the top menu, I'm going to go to Object, and then I'm going to go to Group. Making sure that the entire design is selected, I am going to go to File on the top menu. I'm going to select Save Selection. Then I'm going to save to hard drive. Then I'm going to save it in a folder where you will remember where it is. And then I'm going to name my file. I'm going to change the Save As type to SVG, and then I'm going to hit OK. To cut the Tumbler wrap, I am going to upload it into Cricut. So I have the design uploaded into Cricut Design Space. Here on the Layers panel, you can see the 4 layers of our design. The design may not come into the canvas at the correct size, so you may need to check the size to make sure that it's correct. According to Silhouette Studio, so I'm going to open up Silhouette Studio. According to Silhouette Studio, our design should be sized at 9.25 in width and 8.125 in height. So I'm going to go back to Cricut, and then I'm going to check to make sure that the design is sized correctly. So I'm going to select the entire design. Let me zoom out a little so we can see a little better. I'm going to select the entire design, and I'm going to check the width. So according to Design Space, the template is sized at 9.25 in width and 8.125 in height, and that would be correct. Now that the design is sized correctly, it is ready to be cut. To cut, I am going to select Make It. Here we see the design on its color coordinated mats. So we have the gray rectangle, which is the HTV glitter layer. We have the red mat, which is a rhinestone template mat. We have the yellow mat, which is a glitter HTV mat. And then we have a green mat, which is the rhinestone template mat. Since I will be using glitter HTV, I will need to I will need to mirror the mats that have the glitter HTV to be cut. So I'm going to select the gray mat, which is in glitter HTV mat, and I'm going to change the mirror option to green. I'm going to select the yellow mat, which is a glitter HTV mat, and I'm going to change that mirror option to green. Because I will be picking the rhinestones up with transfer tape, there is no need for me to mirror the rhinestone template mats. So once I'm finished here, I'm going to select continue. Here on the material screen, you will select the type of material the design will be cut with. So to cut the HTV glitter, I will select glitter iron-on. To cut the rhinestone template, I am going to select the rhinestone flock material setting that I created with a pressure of 340 with one pass using the fine point blade. To create your own setting, check out my video, Creating a Custom Material Setting. I will leave a link in the description below. So I'm going to cut all the layers out and come back so that we can assemble it. Okay, so I have all the layers cut and I'm ready to start assembling the tumbler wrap. I went ahead and I cut the HTV anything by hand. So, but if you choose to cut yours with the cutting machine, the Rhinestone World suggests using the cut pressure of 272 with the shiny side facing up on the cutting mat. So first I'm going to press the glitter HTV to the HTV anything. I put the glitter HTV down on the press with the shiny side facing up, and I've placed my glitter HTV on top. I'm going to place a Teflon sheet over top, and then I'm going to press this at 320 degrees for 6 seconds. Okay, so now I am going to peel off the first layer of the HTV. And now I'm going to layer in the letter A. And you just layer it in the same way you would layering HTV on a shirt. So you want to layer in your HTV. So I have it layered in. I am going to cover it with Teflon. And I am going to press this for 320 degrees for 6 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to peel that layer off. I'm gonna peel that layer off. And next I'm going to press the rhinestones. I'm going to start by placing the A rhinestone template on top of the HTV glitter. So I layered that on top. And then I am going to cover it with the Teflon sheet. And I am going to press this for at 320 for 15 seconds. Okay, so I'm finished pressing that, and I am going to remove the rhinestones. And next, I am going to put on my final layer. And so I have my final layer here, and I'm going to lay it down on top of the glitter HTV. And I'm going to just make sure that I layer the rhinestones over the first layer of rhinestones, but I'm going to make sure that I don't touch any of the other rhinestones that are already laid down. Because you don't want any of your rhinestones to be overlapping. Because if they overlap, they won't stick to the HTV. And I got a couple of rhinestones that flip, but I'll fix those in the end. And some move. Let me push that back in place. So I'll fix that in the end. I'm going to cover it with the Teflon. And I'm going to press this at 320 for 15 seconds. Okay. So now I'm going to peel this layer of rhinestones off. Removing the Hotfix tape. Hot. And so now that's our template. That's the wrap for the tumbler. So here I am at the table, and I'm finished pressing the tumbler wrap. So what I'm going to do now is trim the excess HTV anything away from the rhinestones and the glitter. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to trim the wrap as close to the HTV glitter and the rhinestones without cutting any of the glitter HTV. So I'm just going to trim it all the way around on all four sides. So to prepare the wrap to apply to the tumbler, I'm going to flip it over, and I am going to remove the backing off of the wrap. And then I am going to cut out the middle section of the wrap, of the backing, so that I can put just the ends on. So I'm going to cut it out, and then I'm going to place this side back on. And then I'm going to place this side back on. And now what is exposed is the middle part, so that when I get ready to lay it on my tumbler, I can just apply the middle part before and align it around the tumbler to make sure everything fits before I commit to putting the entire wrap on the tumbler. Okay, so here's the tumbler that I'm going to be applying my wrap to. I've already cleaned the tumbler with alcohol to remove any of the oily residue. So the first thing I want to do is I am going to spray the tumbler with water. And I'm spraying it with water so that I can easily position the wrap onto the tumbler. And then I'm going to spray the back of the wrap. And so I'm spraying it with water so that when I put it on the tumbler, I can easily move it around on the tumbler without committing. Now the water that's on the tumbler and on the wrap is going to dry, so it's no concern about whether or not the wrap will stick to the tumbler, because it will stick to the tumbler. So as you can see, our wrap goes all the way around. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel off this side here, and then I'm just going to wrap it around the tumbler. And then I'm going to peel off this side. And wrap it around the tumbler as well. Like that. And so you just press it down. And then press this side down. And there you have your Hotfix Rhinestone multi-layer tumbler. All right, guys, that's all for now. I hope that you were able to follow along with my process. If you like this video and would like to see more, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and consider subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will respond back. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.